Stewart Cink was an assistant captain for Jim Furyk. He was also a vice captain in 2023 in Rome for Zach Johnson. He's catching a plane this morning. He's jumping on quickly with us before he has to head to the airport. Cink, of course, the 2024 assistant captain, as just mentioned, was also the 2009 Open at Turnberry champion. He has 8 PGA Tour wins to his credit, 17 professional wins overall. 5 times he was on the United States Ryder Cup team, 4 times on the United States President's Cup team. He was a 2017 recipient of the Payne Stewart Award. He played in 688 starts on the PGA Tour. 105 of those were top 10s. He was actually paired, interestingly enough, with Jim Furyk back in the 2007 President's Cup at Royal Montreal. They had a 2-up victory over Angel Cabrera and KJ Choi during Sunday's 4-ball matches. Stewart, pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very much for taking the time, because I know you're in a rush this morning. How are you feeling? What are the emotions right now in the wake of this most recent victory?
Well, thanks, Matt, first of all. Love being on with you. First of all, the day after, the few days after these things, they're kind of like when you let the air out of a balloon. You feel a little deflated because they're so fun, and you got so much energy and so much focus, and then there's a void of that is created. So it's always really great to be part of those teams, and whether you're playing, which I played a lot of, or whether you're doing some of the role like I've done the last couple of years. But this team was really great, really fun. Jim Furyk was amazing, and just great memories. It was a great time, and I think everybody's happy with the big win. And everybody looks at the international team, and you can see the quality of the players, and it's an accomplishment to come out on top.
When the U.S. team started out 5-0 in that opening session, only to have the international team come back 5-0 in session number 2. Was that in any way a body blow? Was that a shock to Team USA? And what was the collective behind-the-scenes reaction?
It was a body blow, yeah. I think the typical rah-rah messaging would have been, in fact, I even mentioned, hey, we expect adversity. Anybody in the room didn't think they were going to have adversity when we came up here. How are we going to respond? But to be honest, I don't think we expected to blank that second round, and not one player in our team probably expected that. So that was probably the number one thing I was most proud of for our players, is to just continue to beat themselves and play the golf they play, and face up to that Friday session with resolve and quality and intensity. And they looked like the same players they were on Thursday. And Friday, they still look like the same players to me too. It's hard to say, from just a little bit on the outside, but the other team played exceptionally well in that session on Friday, and they deserved to win those 5 points.
A few years ago, I was speaking with your friend Davis Love III, and I was talking, Stewart, about Team USA President's Cup, Team USA Ryder Cup, and he stopped me. And he said, Matt, it's Team USA. It's under one umbrella. It's one team. We don't see it as separate from one to the other. Do you buy into that philosophy? Is that something you agree with?
I do. And it's mainly because there's some crossover and some interchanging of players, but there's a core that stays with teams for a handful of years. And so they end up drawing from experiences in the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup both, and over time those just kind of blend together. So the team stays, for a varying degree intact, and assimilating new players and relying on the experience of players that aren't playing anymore that become assistant captains and captains, and so yeah, it's a team that the Team USA continues to field in President's Cups and Ryder Cups year after year, and trying to get better and better. And so I couldn't agree more with what Davis told you.
You've seen firsthand, Stewart, the elation of victory and call it depression if you please, but certainly sadness at the very least in defeat. Jim Furyk has felt both sides of those as captain. How important do you think this victory is for him personally and from a reputation standpoint that now he has won emphatically in this President's Cup?
Well, I don't think reputation's really at stake with Jim Furyk. First of all, set that aside right now. I don't think Jim Furyk's reputation would have been soiled in any way had we not won the President's Cup. He's safe to say he's a quality guy, and he has the respect of everybody. His experience, though, is vast, and he has that brain, that Furyk brain. He's got a way to he's got a bigger filing cabinet up there than most of us have. I mean, he remembers so many details about all these cups he's been a part of, and he applied it as a captain. The things that have worked well, what hasn't worked well. He was really great at mentoring all four of us assistants at like for instance on Sunday he kind of pulled us aside and said, listen, here's how today's going to go. We got a little bit of a lead. There's going to be a couple of hours where it's going to look really scary. We're going to get off to a hot start. It's going to look scary, and then in the end I think we're going to pull through and win this thing big. And I mean, he couldn't have predicted it more perfectly than what happened, but he was right. There was a 2-hour span in there where it was like, if just a hole goes one way, this thing is not even close to over. And
Stewart,
so
it
he
seems
just has so much experience.
indeed he does. It seems clear that you're on the path, you're in the queue to be a captain of one of these teams or multiple teams. Having been a part of 11 teams now, 9 as a player, what kind of captain do you see yourself being down the road with all of these different experiences that you've had?
Well, first of all, I certainly hope to become a captain one day. I don't know, what will happen in that regard. It's kind of out of my hands, but it's a lot of fun being a part of the teams, and I see myself being organized and being a little bit ahead of the process. That's what I would hope to be, because I've sensed in the last couple of years, and also when I was a player, that anytime you start to get a little bit behind and there's questions and the players are starting to maybe start to wonder who they're playing with or who's not playing in a session, that is when things start to feel like they're out of control. And so I have to say, when Jim was amazingly ahead of the game, planning sessions one session ahead instead of just the next session, and players just knew what they were doing. Friday, the 0-5 session where we got blanked did sort of throw a wobble into that, but no real change as far as what was happening and what the players were expecting. I think that's a major strength. And nowadays, the players are such in a routine and a process that they like to know what they're doing. They like to know how to plan for it, even 36 hours in advance for rest and recovery and preparation. And the more time you can give them like that, the better off they're going to play, you hope, and better chance you're going to give your team to win.
Stewart, you've probably heard some of the clamoring right now that with the current record of 13-1-1 for Team USA, some are saying something needs to change with the President's Cup. Where do you fall on that, or is it a let it grow?
I'm on the let it grow side, because I just experienced one from the side of, it felt like literally it was us against the whole world. I mean, I got a strong feeling that there's a lot of people that felt the way you just described, and that they were rooting for an international victory to, I don't know what that would accomplish, to be honest, but that team over there has strong players, and there's a comfort level that our Team USA achieves in the President's Cup that that I would hope that we can find in another cup too, in the Ryder Cup, because it's I don't know, it just leads to good golf, and I wish I had the answer, but I don't think the answer should change a lot with the international team or with the President's Cup format. I don't know what it would be. All I know is that none of us on that team wanted to lose to the international team. We wanted to keep winning and keep Team USA on top.
Stewart, I would love to talk to you for the rest of this show, and I'm hoping we get an opportunity to do that, to really dive into your life and how things are going. Would love to see that you continue to flourish, but I know you have to run today and get to the airport. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations for being part of Team USA's victory in the President's Cup.
You got it, Matt. Appreciate that.